and welcome to day 25 of our October Pilates challenge. You guys are doing fantastic. Let's go ahead and get onto those mats and get started. Laying all the way down. You got it. Finding the length of the spine first, reaching outwards through the hips, lengthening across the pelvis, drawing the abdominal muscles in and wrapping the rib cage, widening through the shoulders, opening through the chest, and then drawing the chin down towards the chest so you start lengthening through the back of the neck. Beginning with our breathing exercise, let's take one piece at a time. Place the feet in line with those hip sockets, nice and close. And then drawing the tailbone under and scoop the abdominal muscles in towards you and roll the pelvis off the floor one vertebrae at a time, creating space and openness across the pockets, feeling reach and length down the thighs, and trying to do the best you can to keep the back of the body actually relaxed. Lift from the core instead. And then round yourself all the way back down, rolling through the spine. Let's do that again. Tucking the tailbone under from the abdominal muscles. And let's go ahead and inhale as we roll the pelvis up. Hold at the top as you take a nice deep exhale, wrapping the waistline, scooping the ribs in, feeling the inner thighs engage. Inhale, abs and ribs. And then exhale as you round it back down, lengthening through that lower back. One more time. Inhale as you tuck that tailbone under and roll the pelvis off the floor, widening through the shoulders, lengthening through the neck. Holding at the top as you exhale. Try to feel the inner thighs activate towards your center, even though the legs are apart. Drawing the abs and ribs in. Inhale. And then exhale as you round the pelvis all the way back and down. Now adding on to that movement, extend the arms overhead. Take a moment to lengthen the shoulders away from those ears, right? So you're feeling those lats activate, long neck. And then tucking that tailbone under, inhale as you roll the pelvis up and swoop the arms overhead and down to the knees. Hold at the top as you exhale, reaching through the shoulders, opening through the chest, abs and ribs and inner thighs. Inhale, feel all the parts of the core activate. And then exhale as you roll the spine back down, the arms overhead, shoulders working away from the ears. And inhale, tuck that tailbone under, round the pelvis up, swooping through the arms and reach. Holding at the top as you exhale, lengthening through those shoulders. Inhale, abs and ribs, wrapping that waistline. And then exhale as you round it back down so we get a chance to massage through the spine. One more time. Inhale, tuck that tailbone under, round the pelvis up and reach down to the knees. Holding there as you exhale, lengthen through those shoulders just a little bit more. Inhale, diving the belly button in towards the spine. And then exhale as you round it all the way back and down. Beautiful. Hug those knees into your chest and take a moment just to relax into that lower back. Finding some ease into those muscles. Scoop the core in so you feel that gentle press of the spine towards the floor, and then use the hands on the knees to circle 3 and 2 and 1, and then reversing that for 3 and 2 and 1. Drawing those legs into that tabletop position, arms relaxed by your sides, filling out all the core pieces first, right? Inner thighs, abs, ribs, shoulders, long spine, and then we twist through the lower half. Inhale the legs to the right side, and then exhale the knees to center. And inhale to the left, and exhale, wrapping the waistline to center. Inhale right, and exhale, scooping the belly button in. And inhale left, and exhale, draw the ribs in tight. One more full set to the right, and exhale to center, and inhale left, and exhale to center. All right, preparing for our hundreds. Remember, you have those options, placing those feet on the floor as far from you as you can as you curl up, scooping the belly button in, tightening the ribs towards your center line, or bringing those legs up into your tabletop, or legs long and wrap the heels together, the toes apart. Again, choosing what feels best for your body today. Drawing the belly in, tighten the ribs, reach those shoulders, and now pumping with breath we get. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, lengthen through the neck, and inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, reach to the shoulders, and inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, draw the ribs together, inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, scoop the belly in, and inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, squeeze the inner thighs, we got 4 more, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, expel the air, inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, nice huge breath, and 2 more, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, breathe with me, and last one, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, good, reaching it all the way out, nice and long. Take a moment to lengthen across the room, reaching through those hips, reaching through those toes, reaching through the shoulders and the fingers, and then relax. And then wiggle those fingers and toes, feeling movement into the very furthest points of the body, and then circle those wrists and ankles for 3 and 2 and 1, and then reverse that for 3 and 2 and 1. Fantastic. Go ahead and come onto a side. Choose as we get ready for our side leg series. So draw your shoulders and your hips. I like using my mat as an alignment tool. Shoulders and hips in one line, and they can be near the back edge of your mat. Now your bottom arm is wherever that feels comfortable for your neck. So you got lots of options here, but really addressing what feels best for you along the side of the neck. And then the legs swing forward to the front edge of your mat, or about 45 degrees forward. And this is helpful to protect the back in particular. So scooping the abs and the ribs in, we've changed our orientation, right? So we got to feel how the core is working here. And so you're going to pay a little extra attention to those bottom ribs, right? It's easy to kind of sink into the floor right here. So think of lifting those bottom ribs up towards you, really activating the waistline along the floor so that we're not sinking into the floor, but feeling this active strength upwards towards us. Now, top hand's going to go to your hip. As we do a variety of leg shapes, the hips stay stable. So your core's job is to stabilize from hip to head. This is not going to move around as we do the work, right? We're going to lock this in place and then freely move the thigh within the hip socket. So from here, bring that top leg up to hip height and then take a little extra stretch, reach outwards. Think of shooting energy through that leg, out the toes, and then lock that hip into place as we go into kicks. So again, upper body stays strong and stable as you kick that leg to the front with a little pulse, and then kick behind you without leaning and pulse. And front, front and back, back. Breathe through that front, front and back, pulling the core in and front, front and back, back. We get 5, and reaching through the hip, and 6, and scooping the ribs in tight, and 7, and belly button to spine, and 8, and lengthening through that leg, and 9, and reach, last one, 10, and back, back. Bring it back to center, right? Starting to warm up both the quad and your hamstrings, nice. And then keeping that reach outwards, drawing those abs and ribs in, we create a small circle with the leg without moving the hip. So again, the hip is not going to wiggle around, just the leg circles for 10, and 9, and 8, and 7, and 6, and 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. And now reverse the direction on that. So we get 10, and 9, and 8, and 7, and 6, and 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Fantastic. Starting to hopefully wake up some of the outer hip within that sequence. So now keeping the hips again still nice and stacked, and the leg parallel. So this is the fun little detail of this that we want to work out, right? We're not turning the leg out, which is going to start working inner thigh a little bit more, nor are we turning it in, right? We want to keep the leg parallel. So toes and knees are going to stay pointing forward. As you lift the leg as high as you can and keep that orientation, right? And keep reaching through the leg. And then flex the foot and squeeze the inner thighs down. So really getting this nice activity and sensation on the outside of the hip and then on the inner thigh. So we're going to point and lift, and then flex and squeeze down, and point and lift, and flex and squeeze down, and 2, and flex down, And last one, and flex down. Now simply switch the foot orientation in this. Again, keeping it parallel and keeping the hips stable. Abs and ribs pulled in. We're gonna flex as we lift and then point down long. And then flex and point, encouraging that breath, and flex and point. Two more, flex and point, and one last time, flex and point. Fantastic. Going to come back into the middle of your mat and let's stretch out that hip before we switch sides. So take the leg that you were just working with, ankle over the knee, turning that leg out. Square the hips off, so they're going to want to kind of tip towards the turned out leg, generally speaking. So keeping the hips nice and squared off, abs and ribs pulled in. Hands go behind that parallel leg as you bend the knees in towards you. So we can really draw a nice sense of stretch and length in the back of the turned out leg. So as we're turning that leg out or drawing the knees towards you, that the tailbone is still long and neutral. So we're keeping that sense of length happening back there. And then taking 2 deep breaths right here. Huge exhale. One more. And exhale. And then go to release out of that. And now switch sides. And you can either turn to the other direction, or I'm going to flip around so you can see the movement a little easier. So thinking about that alignment, right? Shoulders and hips near the back edge of your mat. Right, bottom arm wherever that feels comfortable for your neck, and then legs swing forward to the front edge, about 45 degrees. Top hand comes to that hip, abs and ribs pulled in, and especially focusing on those bottom ribs, right, drawing those ribs up towards you, and then bringing that foot up to hip height, reaching through that leg, and drawing the core in, so we stabilize from hip to head, rock solid. And now we go kicks to the front, front and back, back and front. Front and reaching nice and long, and front and lengthening out of the hip, and 4, and scooping the belly in, and 5. Notice the challenge is really keeping the stability when you go behind yourself, right? Scooping through that waistline, 7, and back, back and 8, and reach, and 9, and back, last one, 10, and back, bring it back to center. Reach a little further through that leg if you can. Draw the belly button and the ribs in towards you just a little bit more. And now we have precise little circles all within the leg, keeping the hip stable. Here we go. Circle for 10 and 9 and 8 and 7 and 6 and 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. And then reverse that for 10 and 9 and 8 and 7 and 6 and 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Right, getting a nice sensation. We're waking up those muscles around the hips. These are fantastic muscles to work with. Draw those abs and ribs in, and now we get the point and flex. So again, keeping the hips stable and leg parallel. Point as you lift, and then flex and squeeze down. And point and lift, and flex and squeeze down. Breathe through that, point and lift, and flex, reaching through that heel. 2 more, point and lift, and flex down. 1 more time, point and lift, and flex down. Whew, right, getting that good burn. And now reverse that foot. So we're gonna keep that sense of length. Abs and ribs still pulled in. Flex and lift, and then point, reach out of that hip, and flex, and point long, and flex, and reaching out of that leg. And 2 more, flex, and point, and 1 last time, flex, and point. Fantastic. Come onto the middle of your mat and now stretch out that hip. So taking that working leg across the ankle, turn that leg out, right? Already getting that work into the hip. Square off the pelvis, drawing the core muscles in. Hands go behind your parallel leg as you bend the knees in towards you. And navigating what this side needs, right? We want to go long hips, long lower back, neutral pelvis, turning that working leg out as you bring the knees towards you, breathing into the back of that hip. 2 deep breaths right here. Huge exhale. 1 more. And relax. Awesome job. All right, if you want to do any additional stretches or exercises, now's a perfect time. Otherwise, great work today. See you tomorrow.